It's rare when a film comes along that pairs two prominent television stars into a seemingly can't-miss project that was supposed to be a match made in heaven. This movie took Kirstie Alley, who just came off the surprise hit Look Who's Talking from NBC's Cheers, and John Larroquette, Emmy Award-winning co-star of NBC's Night Court. Orion Pictures distributed the movie. Orion had a slew of hits a few years prior in Hoosiers, Hannah and Her Sisters, and RoboCop, but had a bad run of films recently with Great Balls of Fire, She-Devil, and the underappreciated UHF. Orion would see a few hits come in before bankruptcy in Dances with Wolves and Silence of the Lambs. This movie would not be one of them. While a flop and critically panned, 1990s Madhouse deserves a better legacy. Spoilers ahead. Hey, back-to-back movies with the MGM Lion. Orion Pictures started when five men left the investment firm-owned United Artists and signed a distribution deal with Warner Brothers. Orion would finance movies but give filmmakers complete autonomy. As mentioned earlier, 1989 was a disaster for Orion. By the end of 1991, Orion filed for bankruptcy. Madhouse was in the middle of all this mess. And look at this, back-to-back movies with animated opening credits. This is put together by Sally Cruikshank, I guess that's how you say it, who previously did title sequences for Mannequin, Loverboy, and later primarily worked on Sesame Street. Alison LaPlaca, primarily known for the show Duet, was a strong choice to play Kirstie Alley's sister Claudia. John Dill is John Larroquette's cousin Randy. Dill has seen steady work for over 40 years now. He was Detective Larry Zito on Miami Vice and has tons of roles in major movies like Falling Down, Gettysburg, The Client, Stargate, Con Air, and on and on and on. Tom Ropolewski directed this gem. This was his career highlight. He also wrote the script, having also written Bruce Willis's classic Blind Date, the aforementioned Loverboy, and it kind of fell off from there. And we begin with the sound of a toilet flushing.
Jiggle the handle.
Jesse and Mark Bannister seem to have gotten married in the last year or so, and it's quickly established that they sunk almost all their finances into the purchase of their overpriced home. California real estate, am I right? They are still in the lovey-dovey, horny phase. After their morning workout, we find out that they got their mail 3 weeks late.
I call the post office. I send forms. I sacrifice small animals in front of the mailbox. Oh, hey, it's my cousin Fred.
Turns out Cousin Fred has invited himself and his wife to their home to spend his vacation. When are they coming?
Today.
Vanity license plates. Instead of his and hers, it's mine and hers. A bit of a bold move.
It's just house guests. It'll be fun.
Famous last words. Now, why would he tell him that he's going to travel all the way cross-country in a letter and not a phone call? Because there'd be no surprise. Dennis Miller is Mark's best friend and co-worker, and we find out Mark is an investor, stockbroker, whatever. He lands a huge account after Mark makes a guarantee.
Excuse me, what's your secret summer fantasy?
Chloroform.
A date with Tom Cruise.
Date with Tom Cruise.
Now we see Jessie at work. She's a reporter that specializes in man-on-the-street segments. She asks people questions, that's it. And her job title is a bit dated.
That was Jessica Bannister, our question girl.
Yeah, girl. Her boss tells her he's thinking of making her an evening anchor. Both our leads have huge job opportunities coming up. Mark arrives a bit anxious. We're at the airport now, and Mark remembers Fred as a good-looking, strong, energetic kid. But out comes a man that's defeated, almost dead inside. And his wife is extra chipper. Her name's Bernice. Right away, we see that Bernice is assertive and sort of pushes Fred around. Surprise, Bernice is pregnant. Mark shares the great news that they are moving up in their careers. Fred says he just lost his job.
I just got canned.
Surprise! They brought their cat Scruffy. That's how considerate these house guests are.
Oh!
We find out before getting laid off, Fred worked in a sewage treatment plant.
You know, the best part about that whole job was that I would keep any goodies that came down the pipes.
He calls Mark Pudge. That's happening. The practical effects here look amazing. It almost looks like a real cat.
A little club soda will take that right out.
Bernice is not impressed by the house, noting that it's quite a bit smaller than she had expected. She and Fred seem disappointed. Mark shows them their sofa bed, and Bernice, who's pregnant, talks Mark into surrendering their bed. Jesse's pissed. Mark says Bernice is pregnant and Fred needs it. He's like a pod version of the man he used to be. Jesse consoles him, it's only for 5 days. Mark concedes they're trying to be nice. Fred did give them Cartier watches. But on his old salary? Oh yeah. Gross. They hadn't seen each other in like a dozen years or so. They weren't at each other's weddings. Let's establish that they really are close by grabbing each other's crotches. Bernice is obsessed with Jesse's beauty and believes she had a nose job. Jesse is convinced that Bernice is, quote, what's wrong with Fred? Why does Fred keep calling Mark Pudge? Time to body shame a 12-year-old boy. Fred brought old home movies, and Jesse makes inappropriate comments about 12-year-old Mark's breasts. It's like if Donald Trump were a woman. Scruffy nearly murders Mark. Fred is nice enough to clean the house. Let's do tourist things. The four seem to get along fine. Bernice plays up her pregnancy some more.
All right, everybody say trick.
Fred poses with prostitutes that steal his traveler's checks. Now they really are broke. Next day, Mark brings down an itinerary for Fred and Bernice and offers his car. Mark forks over some cash so that they can afford to enjoy Southern California.
We'd rather spend the rest of our vacation just sitting right here. We insist.
Take my car.
With Fred and Bernice out of their hair, Mark and Jesse have alone time. I was too young when this came out, but I get the feeling that Kirstie Alley was a sex symbol or was being pushed as one. She and Mark are about to relieve some stress when Jesse's sister Claudia comes into the picture. Her husband kicked her out, and now she needs a place to stay. Okay, her husband Kadir didn't kick Claudia out. He cut her allowance and makes her drive the old Jaguar. Yeah, she's a bit high maintenance. And a bit racist.
That Middle Eastern maggot.
Right.
The nerve of that towelhead. Grind some glass, Ayatollah. I cannot live on that. Do not speak Farsi to me, Kadir. I want a divorce.
And now she's their problem. Surely she won't be as bad as Bernice.
You wouldn't happen to have any good scotch, would you?
Jessie flashes her bra to Mark. Now he's convinced. Mark hates Claudia and she has utter contempt for him. She takes their sofa bed.
Get out.
Fred and Bernice return from sightseeing and Claudia has no idea who they are and checks on the ruckus. Claudia defends her actions, saying that they looked insane.
We're not insane. We're from New Jersey.
Bernice notices Claudia's nose and believes they got the same nose job. Jessie is annoyed because they didn't get one. Claudia, because she didn't want it to be too obvious. Scruffy has died. Oh no. R.I.P. Scruffy.
Why don't we just flush it down the toilet?
Not our toilet.
Jessie hears a noise and investigates. Scruffy lives. He's back. It's day 5 and Fred and Bernice are heading back to Jersey. Fred apologizes to Mark for Bernice
Bernice can be a little handful.
when she slips and falls on her back. Jessie runs to her doctor but, quote, LA quacks aren't good enough. Call her doctor in Jersey. We get bad news. She's to remain there for the remainder of her pregnancy. She's on bed rest for 6 months. What's worse, since Fred lost his job, they have no medical coverage. The neighbor's kid, CK, is obviously an inspiration for Toy Story's Sid. Sister Katie invites Mark to come bounce with her. Mark asks their single father Dale for help. Dale obviously has no respect for Mark, but he's willing to help construct a contraption for Bernice. And Katie tells Mark she just got her first period today. Bernice is not grateful for all the help she gets. She's annoyed. Mark and Fred drink their sorrows at a bar. Fred admits they should not have come. Fred says Bernice is destroying him. Mark says the problem is that Fred lets that woman walk all over him.
Fred could have any girl in the senior class he wanted to when he was a freshman.
He gives him a pep talk. Be who you are. Stand up for yourself. They have a choreographed dance routine. Builds confidence. That's the Fred we knew 20 years ago. Next morning,
Fred is gone. He ran away.
did Mark accidentally talk Fred into abandoning his naggy, pregnant, bedridden wife with his cousin? Real stand-up guy. Cue a montage searching L.A. for Fred. Where could he be?
You saw what a wreck he was.
Yes, Mark, but he was her wreck. She liked him like that. She craves human sacrifice, and he was it.
How are they going to take care of Bernice and work at the same time? Jessie forces Claudia to confront her husband and figure things out. There's a new gate installed and guard dogs on premises.
You want to see blood? You just let me in there, you two-bit desert rat. I'll slash your throat.
Oh yeah, That racism's back.
Don't you choke my cherry! Don't choke my cherry!
I'm sorry, this movie is so funny, and it may seem slow, but it's building to greatness. Mark is at work, really selling a company that he wants to be the cornerstone of his client's portfolio. Mark's interrupted for a very important phone call.
No, I don't know what time Wheel of Fortune is on.
Not a good look. Jessie's trying to sneak out of her own house when...
Not so fast, Missy! It's time to shift my butt!
She has become the new Fred. Cue a montage of the two taking care of a terribly rotten, ungrateful Bernice.
Jiggle the handle.
How do you handle stress? Take a fistful of Valium.
Polka!
Pump iron.
6.
Find the source of the stress and break his legs.
How much does something like that cost?
Claudia makes a list of potential suitors. She's as desperate to get out of the house as they are to be rid of her. Claudia's son Jonathan joins the group. He's been kicked out too. And we've lost Scruffy again. R.I.P. Scruffy. Hey, it's CK again. He asks if he can have the cat, the corpse that is. Guess who's back? Claudia's been working her list and everybody's unavailable. Jessie comes up with a prospect, neighbor Dale. He drives a Lotus. She introduces the two while wearing something a little more eye-catching. Dale agrees to take in Claudia and Jonathan. To celebrate ridding themselves of a couple house guests, they grill steaks and try to have an afternoon romp when tragedy strikes. Dale and his two kids are now homeless, and to avoid legal problems, Mark and Jessie take them in. So, to recap, in an overpriced one-bathroom home that they've sunk all their resources into, they have themselves, plus Bernice, an immortal cat, Claudia, Jonathan, Dale, Katie, psychotic CK, and a python. And Fred is MIA. Just establishing that there's a trampoline in their backyard. Hey, guess who's back?
They buried him alive. Cool.
Don't you be getting any ideas.
But if they can bury him, I can too.
You get permission first.
Again, this dark comedy is just awesome. Mark has a nightmare. Night of the Living Dead meets Modern Family meets Married with Children, I guess. It's come to this, sleeping on their own kitchen floor. And the python has escaped. One less house guest. Jonathan shows up at Mark's work. He wants a job so he can move out. He specifically mentions the mail room. We get glimpses of how crowded that room is. Bernice is ordering items from a shopping channel with who knows whose money. And there's a glass of pee to be sent to the doctor in Jersey. CK blows up Scruffy and the kitchen. R.I.P. Again. Mark threatens CK into being helpful, something productive. CK obliges, but not before he gives us a gay slur.
You know what happens when you cram too many laboratory rats together in the same cage?
Yeah, they turn into
Right, some of them do. Others just turn into cannibals. They tear each other apart.
It was a different time. Mark believes they can take control of the situation and motivate the guests. He's a bit naive.
Cook him in the oven!
Hide his medication.
Then I guess I'd use insulin. Inject 30 cc's into, say, a freckle. Bingo. All the symptoms of a massive coronary.
Clorox in the bean dip?
Jessie asks, how would you murder someone? Yeah, she's having a breakdown live on air. Not good for work.
That Clorox bit. Oh man, there is a real winner. Those people were up all night with the runs. And they refused to jiggle the handle.
Dennis Miller arrives only to discover what looks like a war zone. Dale has a workshop downstairs, a line for the bathroom, a warning to avoid Bernice, CK trying to murder the cat again. Mark and Jessie now camps outside. Mark needs to come in to work ASAP. His hot stock is tanking. He promises to sell the stock immediately. There's a federal investigation going on right now, but he's interrupted by his boss. Someone has been making thousands of dollars in phone calls to Columbia from his office. Buckle up, dudes. The final third of this movie is going to be wild. The tension rises. Mark goes into the mailroom to ask Jonathan about the phone calls. He's not there, but he finds out he's been receiving packages from Columbia and that Jonathan's been taking care of them. Wonder what's inside. A mysterious white powder. Crap, crap, crap. Must get rid of it, must get rid of it. Seriously? There was a lock on there. Crap. Now everybody is watching him. He could have disposed of it on the way home, but hey, peril and conflict building to the climax are at stake here. Wait, what? Fred's back. He followed his heart and found himself, and the cops have arrived. Who owns the elephant? Do you have a permit? Are you the homeowner? Oh, hey, Scruffy. Mark looks for Jonathan.
Oh, Tiny, not the flower bed!
The elephant can't be controlled. The cops call in a massive drug raid. Mark finds Jonathan, who slyly says it's got Mark's name on it. The walls are closing in as the cops begin to swarm. Toilet's not an option. Mark makes his escape. Helicopter cops see CK's handiwork as an attack on them. Game on. Police bag up Scruffy as evidence. Guns drawn. Mark drops the powder on a neighbor's fresh white gravel. Their home is toast. Meanwhile, Jessie's at the TV station and convinces her boss to let her on air again. She'll never let her personal life affect her work.
Our top story tonight, a SWAT team strike has been called in on a Santa Monica home.
Jessie immediately lets her boss down. There is a set at the station built for cooking segments, and Mark finds her there. They'll stay the night and run off together tomorrow. We hear the news telling us about the collapse of the stock that Mark forgot to sell. His career is just as dead as Jessie's. Next morning, they come home to salvage anything they may need. Jessie hears a voicemail that states Bernice is not pregnant. Oh boy. Time to clean house. Jessie confronts Bernice, who insults her. Not a good time to piss off Jessie. Bernice concedes. They're leaving. Victory dance. We ain't done, folks. That was easy. Bye-bye, CK. Not sure the bra shot is necessary, but let's roll with it. Katie's gone just like that. If only to protect her poor fur coat, Claudia's gone too. To get Dale to surrender, it may take actual combat. Crap. He's no match for Dale in a fight. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, Jessie is the perfect wife. That does it. Wait, one more. Jonathan fell hard. Jonathan fell fast. He makes off with drugs, keys to the Lotus, and fireworks.
Stupid things didn't work. They always work.
Mark and Jessie climb atop their home to reclaim it. Cops arrive with Jonathan detained. They issue a formal apology for destroying their home, and the LAPD will pay for repairs. No charges. Their evidence, a dead cat, disappeared from the evidence locker. Now we get the arrival of the big shot that Mark was investing for. Turns out that the investigation got dropped and the stock price skyrocketed. Mark made him millions. By ignoring his demands, Mark showed balls. The guy offers Mark quadruple his salary to come work for him. Mark's going to make them tons of money. Claudia latches on to him as he's leaving. Dale hooks up with one of the cops who immediately threatens CK. Fred is truly a changed man and is no longer putting up with his wife pushing him around. Hey, Scruffy! With an evidence tag still attached. Details are why this movie rocks. Scruffy has had enough of Bernice and chooses Jessie. And they leave for Jersey. It's been a crazy couple of months and our lovely couple embrace on their own bed finally. But they're interrupted, and we're back to where we started. That damn toilet. In classic 80s fashion, we have a freeze frame with an epilogue. Look, Jessie gets to keep her job. And that's the movie, folks. It's a shame that this movie is not more respected. It's a genuine riot. Neither Laura Cat or Allie really had careers as leads in movies after this. And as mentioned about 15 minutes ago, writer-director Tom Ropolowski's career in movies pretty much ended with this. I find it curious, though. This movie is brilliant, and you should check it out. It's streaming on Tubi TV right now. And for the love of God, please jiggle the handle.